For those who are wondering why he's not here tonight, the mayor is on vacation. So we're going to go ahead and move forward with the meeting. We've got Councilman Bieneme joining us right now. If you will, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by tonight Code Compliance Officer Eric Tate.
Join with me, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tate. Please remain standing for our invocation. Pastor Richard Sejour, Gateway Foursquare Family Church. Pastor Sejour.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to say a special good evening to the Vice Mayor and the members of the council. Would you bow your head with me as we pray to the Lord? Father God, we recognize you as the creator of the universe and the author of life. We also acknowledge you as the God of justice and mercy. Therefore, we take great pleasure in invoking your presence in this council meeting tonight. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to serve the people of North Miami. And I pray, Father God, that you would impart your wisdom to the Vice Mayor, to the members of the council, so that the matters that are going to be discussed tonight will be discussed in a very fair way. I thank you for your protective hand that have been upon our city, our police officers, and those that are in charge of protecting our city. We thank you for them, and we ask you for continual protection upon them. And we ask, Father God, at the end of the day, this meeting tonight, the city of North Miami, or the citizen rather of North Miami, will be the beneficiary of this meeting tonight. And it is in your Son's name that I pray. Amen.
You may be seated. Pastor Sejour, it's always a pleasure to have you here. I taught two of his sons when they were in junior high school, and they are coming up on the age of 40 now, I guess. Yeah, so I know, but I don't want people to know how old I am either, but thank you for being here tonight. Are there any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda tonight?
Very quickly, Mr. Vice Mayor. First, we will not be having item number 8, the hurricane preparedness update tonight. Our guests, unfortunately, will not be able to make it. And we need to take, I just got this late, we need to take here tab K before we hear tab J.
Is there a smaller, you got that?
Yeah.
Trying to get a copy of that, a smaller one. A smaller.
Agenda.
Sure. Yeah, just agenda.
We need K before.
K before J.
Is
Those are the
Please, Mr.
two.
Manager.
Is there a motion to move, as they're making copies of the agenda, is there a motion to move tab K prior to tab J?
So moved.
So
Second.
moved by Councilwoman Keys, seconded by Councilman Bieneme. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. K will be heard before J.
What
Uh,
is K? Mr.
That's
Vice Mayor?
LDR.
LDR?
No.
CPR.
K is the adoption of
Oh.
the action plan for the CDBG program, and
Oh.
J is the CBOs. I have to take them out in
Okay.
reverse order because the action plan has to be adopted
I see. Okay,
first.
got it. Thank you.
All right. With the agenda now set for this evening, we're going to move down to the floor for special presentations, starting by our scholarship awards presented by the North Miami Educational Foundation. So if the council will please head down to the floor, we will award those first presentations.
Just took mine out.
Good evening, Council, members of the dais, and to all our special guests this evening. My name is Andrea McDonald. I'm the board liaison for the North Miami Educational Foundation. We are here tonight to present the 2017-18 Scholarship Awards to 16 North Miami students who have qualified to receive these funds to further their education. I'd like to give a special thank you to Alida Partners, who in 2012 agreed with the city to provide $750,000 to assist North Miami residents in their pursuit of educational goals. I'd like to recognize our 9-member board with our president, Stephen Mall, vice provost for Florida International University. Our vice president is Gypsy Metellus, executive director of the Saint La Haitian Neighborhood Center, treasurer Clark Reynolds, and you can come up. A North Miami business owner, our secretary, Mary Estime Irvin, also a North Miami business owner, Darrell Branton, principal of the North Miami Senior High School, Patrick Lacuti, principal of the North Miami Middle School, retired educator, Sophia Hall, Assistant Chief Larry Jariga, and Deputy City Manager, Arthur H. Sorry III. Today we honor the following students, and please come up as I call your name. Megan Bishotti. Megan is a graduate of North Miami Senior High, attending Miami-Dade College to pursue a degree in criminal justice. I'm sorry, major in biology, my correction. Bianca Cannell, she's not here tonight, but Bianca is a graduate of Miami Central Senior High. She's also attending Miami-Dade College to pursue a degree in criminal justice. Bianca is out of town tonight. Straciani Deese, she's a graduate of Miami Lakes Educational Center. She's attending Miami-Dade College to pursue a degree in nursing. Straciani is on a missionary trip to Haiti this month. Cassandra Diodone, she's here, a graduate of Miami Central Senior High, attending St. Thomas University to pursue a degree in biology. Ashley Gill, a graduate of Alonzo and Tracy Morning Senior High. Is Ashley here? Okay, Ashley's also, she's attending the University of Florida to pursue a major in marketing with a degree in business. Daslin Hall, a graduate of North Miami Senior High. They're in alphabetical order. She's attending Miami-Dade College to pursue a degree in business. I'm not sure if she's present. She is. Idrelina Jean-Francois. I think I said that correctly. A graduate of North Miami Senior High, attending Miami-Dade College to pursue a degree in health administration. Jeannie C. Jerome, graduate of North Miami Senior High, attending Barry University to pursue a major in biology, pre-med. Samara Jolie, is she here? Graduate of William Turner Technical Arts High, attending Florida International University to pursue a degree in public administration. Madison Jones, a graduate of Miami Country Day School, attending the University of Florida to pursue a degree in accounting. Cedric Joseph, is he here? A graduate of Northwestern Christian Academy. He's attending Barry University to pursue a degree in exercise physiology. Now, I don't know what that meant until today. Exercise physiologists analyze their patients' fitness in order to help them improve their health or maintain good health. Cedric is a second-year recipient of this award. Melanie Longsworth, she's not here. She's a graduate of Alonzo and Tracy Morning High. She's also attending Miami-Dade to pursue a degree in nursing. She's a second-year recipient. Crystal Michelle, graduate of the Master Academy at Key Biscayne, attending Florida International University to pursue a degree in nursing, later to become a midwife or nurse practitioner specialized in labor and delivery. Valoni Richardson, is Valoni here? She's a graduate of North Miami Senior High, attending Florida International University. Valoni is pursuing a degree in the science of nursing, and Valoni is a third-year recipient of this award, and she's on the dean's list. Dieudonne St. George's, a graduate of Miami Northwestern Senior High, attending Emory University, pursuing a degree in neuroscience and behavioral biology. Whew, I got that out. Shama Torshan, a graduate of Miami Central High, attending Miami-Dade Honors College and pursuing a degree in nursing. Shama is a second-year recipient, but she's not here tonight. Each student has been awarded $3,000, which is payable at $1,500 per semester, fall and spring, and they are eligible to apply each year of their undergraduate studies if they meet the criteria. Please give a hand for these amazing young people.
All right, our next proclamation is going to be presented to the Parks and Recreation Department in honor of National Parks and Recreation Month. I'm going to guess that's July because that's the month we're in right now. Anybody from the Parks Department going to come up, and how do you want to do the presentation, Cassandra? Get the fancy banner. Now, normally the mayor would be here doing this tonight, but because he's on vacation, I'm going to read the proclamation in part for us tonight. We're celebrating National Parks and Recreation Month tonight, whereas parks and recreation programs enhance our quality of life by contributing to a healthy lifestyle, community building, economic development, and environmental sustainability, and whereas local, state, and national parks located within the state of Florida contribute to the overall quality of life enjoyed by our residents and our visitors to the state and city. Now, therefore, in consideration of the foregoing, the city of North Miami, excuse me, on behalf of our residents, do hereby proclaim July 11th to be National Parks and Recreation Day in the city of North Miami. Here's our Parks Director, Derek Corker.
Good evening, everyone. As the Vice Mayor said, the month of July is Parks and Recreation Month. We want you guys to get out to your parks, celebrate, and enhance your quality of life of living. Parks and Rec is very important in the city. I think it's the lifeline in any city that you are in. If you don't have Parks and Recreation, you don't have the quality of life that you need. So please get out and support the Parks and Recreation departments throughout the city of North Miami. Thank you very much.
You want to do it in front of the... Okay. Now, there are not many people who have been around this city longer than I have, but the next gentleman that we're going to acknowledge and honor tonight has been. Code Compliance Officer Eric Tate is retiring from the city of North Miami, and he's doing so after 33 years of service to this great city. So first off, give a round of applause to 33 great years. Eric Tate was born in the city of Miami, and he's spent the last 50 years of his life being part of this very city. He and his family moved to North Miami when he was 5 years old. This is Eric, by the way. Eric, welcome. I've got to read your tribute first, so, you know. He moved here when he was 5 years old, where he attended North Miami Elementary, North Miami Junior High School, because it was junior high school back then. I'm not going to call it middle school. North Miami Junior High School, and the great North Miami Senior High School. Pioneers. His very first job in our city was working for Publix on Northeast 6th Avenue. Eric Tate became an employee of the city of North Miami in 1984, and he was a contractual refuse collector at that point. Within 2 years, he was promoted to be a driver for the sanitation division. In 1995, Eric was promoted to a sanitation coordinator and served in that position until he was transferred to the code compliance unit in 2014. Since then, he has been a sanitation code officer, and he'll be retiring on August the 1st, 2017, with 33 years and 4 months of service. Please, on behalf of all his fellow employees here at the City of North Miami and our former city manager, Mark Collins, please welcome and congratulate Eric Tate.
Thank you all very much. I'm not one for speeches, but I do appreciate this recognition. It's thank you for the city for this. It's been good. This job's helped me raise a family. I've worked with a lot of good folks over the years. None more important than that big guy sitting over there in the white shirt. Provide me a good example. I want to thank my current employees that I work with for attending tonight. I really appreciate it. My family and Major Blanchard, Chief Bage. I just want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank you very much.
And our last recognition of the evening is going to be the quarterly budget and financial presentation by Terry Henley. I guess, council, we can go back to our seats. Terry, if you'll come to the microphone and give us our budget update, we'll be able to move on with the evening. Thank you, everybody, for your attention.
Good evening, Vice Mayor, Council, Terry Henley, Budget Office. And tonight I'll be presenting the second quarter budget presentation for the fiscal year 16-17. The presentation will include revenues, expenditures, and then follow up with a brief recap. This is an overview of the major revenue categories for the general fund. I'll discuss more in detail in the coming slides, but overall, for the overall budget, it's out of the $68.3 million, we've collected $31.8 million, which is approximately 47% for the year expected through the second quarter. And the second quarter is from October 1st through March 31st. For taxes, ad valorem taxes, to date, we've collected 89%. For general sales and use taxes, it's 34%. Franchise fees, 27%. Our utility service taxes, this is from FP&L natural gas, and we're at 39%. The communications tax is at 26%, and this includes telecommunication, videos, and direct-to-home satellite services. Bottom line for taxes, we're at 69%, which is more than half of the expectation for the year. License and permits, for occupational license, we're at 92%. Building permits are at 49%. Other license and fees are at 35%. And this is the money we receive from MediaNet and billboards. Overall, for license and permits, we're at 53% through the second quarter. Intergovernmental revenue, the first is state shared revenue, and this is your half-cent sales tax and state revenue sharing. We're at 52%, which is on target. Shared revenue from local units is at 27%, and this is the occupational licenses from Dade County. Overall, for the through the second quarter, we're at 51% for intergovernmental revenue. Charges for service. Service charges are at 41%. This includes passport application fees, zoning compliance, and minimum housing review fees. Public safety is at 108%. This includes the burglary alarm fees and San Souci Guard gate reimbursement and other police miscellaneous revenues. For the physical environment, we're at 20%. For culture and recreation, we're at 43%, and this is from the swimming pool, tennis revenues, and summer camp. Combined, we're at 43% for service charge revenue. Fines and forfeits. For judgment and fines, this includes code liens, amnesty program, and settlements, and we're at 79%. Library fines, 206%. Violation of local ordinances, we're at 41%. For other fines, 97%, but overall for fines and forfeits, we're at 74%. The miscellaneous revenue, interest revenue, this is the money received off what we have in the bank. For other earnings, we're at $614,000 for the quarter. For rents and royalties, this is money we received from the land leases and rental units. We're at 10%. For contributions and donations, we're at 15%. Other miscellaneous revenues, this is the source typically comprised of risk refunds, and we're at 19%. Overall, for miscellaneous revenues, we're at 62% through the second quarter. Non-revenues, these are journal entries or interfund transfers between funds. It's what the it's what other funds pay into. Contributions from the enterprise funds, this is what the water, sewer, and stormwater funds pay into the general fund for services like IT, legal, and fleet, and we're at 50%. The non-operating sources, this is your carryover money from reserves for unfinished projects, and that are moved into the new year. This slide demonstrates how the second quarter in FY17 compares to FY16. Overall, we've collected 47% of revenue compared to last year's 59%. This difference is due mainly to the unbudgeted revenue of $4.4 million that we received last year from Solomia. The general fund expenditures for the second quarter at 49%. Last year at this time we were at 54%, and this 5%.
Excuse me.
Yes.
We don't have that, and I can see here.
You don't see.
I
Yeah.
cannot. We don't have the presentation.
And because the council doesn't have, if I might, a point, if you can, during tonight's meeting, email it to us so that we can make a review, and I'll bring it back at the
Because
end.
there
If
is
not,
nothing
Terry,
that
you're
we
in for a
can-
long night, because if we have further questions, we're going to bring you back at the end of the agenda.
That's fine.
That way we can have a chance to look at it during the night. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, and I want to know why you decide not to give us a copy prior to the presentation, because we usually have a copy where we can compare and from last year and this year and ask you a question about it.
You're right. You usually have a copy.
But
I'll
I
provide
don't.
that. For second quarter general fund revenue comparison. Mhm. Mhm. Overall, the expenditures for the second quarter are at 49%. Last year at this time, we were at 54%. And this 5% difference is due to the reserve fund being slightly larger. All right. Now, to recap the second quarter status, the revenues, we've collected 31.8 million, which is 47%, and expenditures are at 33.2 million, which is 49%. Thank you.
Right. Terry, does that complete your presentation? Mr. Manager?
Finance needs to put the cash balances on the record as well.
Okay, if you have a question for Terry, do we wait?
Yeah, let's let both of them make their presentation, and then if the manager has something to add, and then we'll turn it over to council, if that's cool.
Okay. Vice Mayor, Council, Miguel Augustin, Finance Department. As of March 31st, the cash balance in the operating account was 51 million, 46,000, and the amount in investments was 19,139,000. The cash balance is broken out between the utility deposit, which is 2.3 million. Compared to last year, it's only a small difference of 32,000. It went up. And the daily operating account went up 2.8 million from last year. So that's a 6% increase. The investments are pretty steady in terms of the amounts, the balances compared to last year. Because essentially we have certificates of deposit, so we record the interest into our income throughout the year, but the principal balance remains the same from year to year. So we have 1.5 million in certificates of deposit. We did get an increase in the rate of return on the CDs. It was 0.1%, now it's 0.75%. And the amount that we have also with the State Board of Administration went up 50,000. We have 6.3 million with the State Board of Administration. That concludes my report.
All right.
Thank you.
Council members, anybody have any questions for either of the presenters?
Yes.
Councilman DeSolme.
I have a quick question, Terry. You mentioned, and I may be a little bit off in the figures, or the revenue, you said as of now is 31 million, and the expenditure is 33 million.
Correct.
Is that correct? So there's a negative balance. Would that be, are we part of the daily operation, or how
What-
it's
what
not
that
balanced?
is- Yes, that's an astute question. What the difference of 2%, a lot of it has to do with 13 million that we have in reserves.
Okay.
Once that money's in the bank, once it's realized, this number jumps up to about 68%. So
Okay.
you're looking at 68% versus 40, or 68% versus 49.
So on the record, what's
Mhm.
the number in reserve right as of now?
It's on this slide. It's this non-operating source of $13,473,330.
Mr. Manager, I know that number changes. Would that number be going up? It's supposed to be up, but there was some explanation you had last year as to the difference between that number. What's our actual? Is it 9 million in reserve, or because part of that has some money that's not really allocated for reserve, but it's in reserve?
Well, let Terry answer the reserve question first, and then I want to give you an explanation about the fund, I guess the fund balance which you're looking at.
Sure. Last year we had 4.4 million come in from Solomia. We have about $10 million in reserve, some of it committed, some of it uncommitted. You have $5 million that you can't touch by resolution. That's the uncommitted part. Then you have another 5 million that's for projects like CAGD and of sorts. So it's all considered reserve,
Oh.
right? And then
Oh, no, go ahead.
that's it.
So, sir, what's our
So
reserve?
with regards to your general fund balance reserve, that's really a year-end number. So it's hard to track during the year because what he's showing you is a reflection of the budget to actual as we go through the fiscal year. we'll have a report, and what I'll do is give you the end of year financials. Our financials is closed.
Okay.
And we'll give you an end of year presentation of the fund balance and what we expect in the year.
I asked that because I know last year we were at somewhere 6 point something million in reserve was not committed, that's actually was
Right.
in the reserve.
And he just went over that. So you
Which
have the
you did.
5 million that you are, by
Committed.
ordinance, you have to budget that we don't touch.
Yeah.
You have a portion of, I think it's like 2.7 of the 4.4 that we
Okay.
still have not allocated
Unallocated.
And allocated, okay.
So
And that's
so
what I'm worried.
7, so you have 7.7 million right there.
Okay, so the 5 million is my concern. So that's really our reserve, whatever that
For the
we
year.
have for the
Yes,
year.
For the year, yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Anybody else?
How much
Council.
money, how much unallocated fund do we have?
I think it's around 2.7 unallocated in the
Unallocated.
reserve.
Oh, yeah, about
Why don't we
2.7,
add it
about
to
half
the
of that
reserve,
5.
very reserve, that we,
Is there a reason, Councilman's asking, is there a reason why you don't include that 2.5 with the actual 5
no,
for
we
the
have
reserve?
to make it.
No.
We have by resolution to add it.
You would
The
have
super
to, so,
reserve if we want to.
yeah, and we presented some discussion with you guys on what we think is the best overall solution with some of those monies that are coming in, but it's gonna be an action of the board, either via the budget that's coming up that we can present, that you can allocate it, or decide to keep it as a unallocated reserve item for emergencies or, litigation, things of that nature, yeah.
But I think you are the finance manager, and you always recommend that
We keep
we
reserve.
increase the very reserve
I absolutely do.
to at least $10 million.
Well, that was the goal. That's what I'm trying to get at, but I wouldn't recommend the whole 2 point something, but a nice size of that I would definitely support.
Well, best practice coming from GFOA is that the board adopt a reserve policy and maintain it. What
Okay.
I've seen in the past is anything from a 10% to a 20% of your 3-year operating reserves as a average reserve to keep
Meaning
on
every
hand.
year we add to the
Yeah.
And
Add
every
to
year
it.
you add to it.
Yeah, I would like that.
And then have some rules about what you can spend the reserve on.
We already have that.
Right. Well,
We do?
you have some,
The
but I've
super
seen
reserve, where
I've
we
seen
need
some
4/5 of
some
the
much
vote,
more
yeah.
restrictive.
More restricted than the 4/5?
Yes.
It's 4/5
Yeah,
of
that's-
the
yeah,
vote
that- that
A
should
vo-
be-
no, I mean beyond a vote.
Oh,
I'm talking about
the
what you
putting
can
money.
actually
Projects.
spend it on. What you
Oh,
actually
no,
spend it on.
I don't know about the spending, just I think the increasing of it is important, because I know cities, Doral, Aventura, some of them, they're almost in the 90s of their reserve, and we at 5, so
Well,
somewhat.
it's what, and again, you're looking at the annual number. We
Yeah.
set aside $5 million on an annual basis. We budget for it, depending on where we end the year, whether it's in a deficit position or a surplus. In the last couple of years, we've been in a surplus. You've been able to add to the reserve, but we can
Yeah,
we
but-
can
but
have
we
a
could
more
add more.
thorough
Okay.
discussion on it as we get into the budget.
Councilwoman Keys.
Yes, I would like to repeat that being able to see this in advance would have been helpful. Seeing it flash on the screen real fast, I don't really get it. A lot of the little highlighted lines, I couldn't tell what they were. And really, this is about revenues and expenses. And I understand that our revenues are not 1/12, 1/12, 1/12. So sometimes it looks like we really have a lot of income or we're short on income, but it's really because it's not the right time of year. So I would like something a little bit more explicit. At least we could ask, are we really on target, or are we short or over just because we already got everything in advance, or we're still expecting it? So can't really make any comments till I really get to look at it. And would like to.
Councilwoman, I've asked that they email it to us during the course of this meeting. Is that sufficient for you? Do you want to have this
We'll
present?
get you hard copies. I think they're actually prepared somewhere.
We'll bring it back at the end of this meeting. I've just written it down on the agenda. At that time, if people don't feel comfortable, if the council doesn't feel comfortable, we'll reschedule this for our next city council.
Yeah, we can
meeting.
put it back on. We can have this.
Yeah, but I don't see why tonight we
It's a
usually have-
report. It's just a report.
Right.
But it's not just a report. In order for us to ask questions about it and see where we were last year compared to this year, we need the actual report, like 2-3 weeks
We will-
prior to
we will-
to
we
the
will get it to
presentation.
you. We will
That's
get-
how we usually get it.
We will get it to you right now.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions? Mr. Augustin, Mr. Henley, thank you for your diligence. All right, we're now going to move on to city events. Cassandra Timothy.
Good evening, Vice Mayor, Council, staff, North Miami neighbors. My name is Cassandra Timothy, Public Information Officer, and I have the pleasure of sharing exciting events coming up in the city of North Miami. The North Miami Movie on the Lawn series has a new twist this summer. Trade in your blankets and lawn chair for swimming trunks and flip-flops and come sit under the stars at Thomas Sasso Pool for a dive-in movie. Enjoy a free screening of Secret Life of Pets on Friday, July 21st. The movie begins at 8:15 p.m. Jazz at Mocha is South Florida's longest-running free outdoor jazz concert series. Enjoy these outdoor performances on the last Friday of every month in the Mocha Plaza. On Friday, July 28th, enjoy the infused sounds of Anibal Berate beginning at 8 p.m. On Saturday, August 5th, Councilman Alex Desome will host the Empowerment Youth of Tomorrow's Foundation Back to School Backpack Giveaway at the Judson Community Center beginning at 10 a.m. There is still plenty of time to drop off your donated school supplies for the City of North Miami's annual Mayor's Back to School Bash and Resource Fair. Donations will be accepted until 4:30 p.m. on August 7th. The Back to School Bash takes place from 1 to 3 p.m. on Saturday, August 19th at the Joe Celestine Center. The summer reading program at the North Miami Library is coming to an end soon, but there is still time to sign up for the summer reading program and enter to win fabulous prizes during the Family Fun Day celebration on Saturday, August 12th, beginning at 10 a.m. Councilman Philippe Bien-Aimé, in partnership with the Association of Haitian Educators of Dade, will host another back-to-school giveaway from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Saturday, August 12th at the North Miami Public Library in conjunction with the end of the summer reading celebration. Stay tuned by watching our free governmental programming, NOMI TV, available 24 hours a day on our city's website, www.northmiamifl.gov. Like the City of North Miami on Facebook and follow @NOMI News on Twitter. Thank you.
Thank you, Cassandra. And next we have city projects. Update on city projects, Mr. Manager.
We do not have to update this for this meeting.
Okay.
Thank
And we've already deleted the hurricane preparedness, so we'll move into the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Keys. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Councilman Bien-Aimé. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It passes 4-0. Again, for those of you who joined us late, the mayor is on vacation this evening and is unable to be with us. We'll now move. I want to take a moment to recognize a council person who is with us tonight, Councilman Jacques Despinosa. Councilman, always wonderful to have you here. Is former Mayor Kevin Burns here as well, I've been told? Mayor Burns, oh, hey, I didn't see you come into the back. All right. We'll now move on to tab F. Tab F, Mr. City Clerk.
Tab F, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the city administration's selection of MCT Service LLC to perform the North Central Streets Tree Planning Project, further authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute an agreement to complete the project in an amount not to exceed $37,000 in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained invitation to quote number 57-16-17, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Yes, Mr. Destrade.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Vice Mayor. Good evening, Mr. Vice Mayor, council members. Alberto Estrade, Purchasing Department. The item that you have before you is staff's recommendation to approve the award of the invitation to quote 57-16-17, the North Central Streets Tree Planting Project, and to authorize the issuance of a purchase order to the company named MCT Services Incorporated as the lowest responsive and responsible bidder in an amount not to exceed $37,000. To give you a little bit of a background on this, on March 10th, 2017, the City of North Miami entered into an agreement with the county to partner on the implementation of the North Central Street project as part of the county's street tree matching grant program. Through this grant, the county will provide the city $18,500 in matching grant funds, which the city will then match for a total project budget of $37,000. On June 8th, 2017, the Purchasing Department issued the solicitation for the North Central Streets tree planting project, and we requested quotes from qualified vendors to provide the necessary labor and materials. The actual scope of work for this project consists of the planting of native shade trees within the right-of-way swales in the applicable neighborhoods, as indicated in the solicitation, and in accordance with the specifications and criteria of the solicitation, including a one-year maintenance period for all new trees. In response to the solicitation, as you have in your council report, you will see that the city received 5 bids, and they are listed there as part of the council report. The lowest responsive and responsible bidder was MCT Service. The actual bid amount that was submitted was for $23,322. However, staff is recommending the award of the entire amount of $37,000 in order to afford an opportunity to maximize this tree planting beautification project for the North Central area. Attached to the council report is a copy of the actual solicitation, is a copy of the proposed locations for the tree installation, a copy of the MCT Services submittal, a copy of the bid tabulation, as well as the tree planting agreement with the county. And if the council has any questions, I'll be glad to entertain them.
Thank you, Mr. Estrada. Anybody from the council have a question?
I do, but
Councilman DeSilva.
public hearing first, and
You want to do public hearing first? All right, we'll do it that way. Public hearing. Anybody who wants to speak on item tab F, please come forward now. Seeing nobody rising to the microphone, public hearing on tab F is now closed. Council discussion. Councilman
yes, sir,
DeSilva.
Vice Mayor, I have a question for Mr. Estrada. Mr. Estrada, on the application to the county, part of the North Central tree planting project, the location of the trees specifically stated between 104th and 110th Street, which is unincorporated Dade. So which part is it, the justification for, I guess it runs parallel to Northwest 17th Avenue?
Councilman DeSilva, I have here with me Mr. Kent Walia, and he
Okay.
is the planner for the city of North Miami, and I believe he might be able to shed a little bit more light
Sure.
on the actual agreement itself with the county.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Walia.
Hello, my name is Kent, planner, city arborist. The North Central Street Tree Planting Map originally was applied for in the city boundaries. So on the application, you'll see a map there which has some dots, which are the planting locations. So it's within the boundaries of the city.
Okay, so that's an error.
If
I'm
there was
assuming.
a typo of a street name, but the map is what reflects where the trees are going.
Okay. Okay, so I can't see the map. Can you read out the address to me, at least? No, he's taking all of it in District 3. That's, we want the folks to.
It's not District 3, it's District Tree.
That's
I'll
true.
be here all night, folks.
Okay. No, I do see it's all District 3, but so, no, it is. But again, are the boundaries, are they outside of our city limits? So that's just an error, a typo, you saying?
Well, it should be within the city limits on the map. The streets are, the central area on the corridor is Northeast 143rd Street, 142nd, 140th, 139th Streets between 6th Avenue and Northeast 16th Avenue, along Northeast 18th Avenue between 149th and 146th.
No, that's correct. On top of that, the tree planting, the roadway with Cross Street, Northwest 17th Avenue between 104th and 110th Street. That was
Which page?
on the first page, on top of where you was reading.
That's an example. That's an application.
An example of the application.
That's an example of the application. What you're seeing is name of roadway is an example for you to follow. So what
Okay.
our roads are is right below that, which is A.
I see.
That's
So,
the county's template.
okay, so A and I guess Miami-Dade County within District 2. The other question, why are they all in one area?
Well, with these grants, we identified areas of deficiency according to the North Miami Street Tree Management Plan. So we identified this area as an area of deficiency. We've already had a grant for previous areas of the city, which included Sunkist Grove, which already has another grant.
Okay, got it. Thank you. No, I mean, I don't need those type of trees. I was just asking.
You don't need
Huh? No, but you know what kind of trees I want, right?
We got a grant for your area.
Okay.
that.
I
They
was
only need
messing.
seed plants.
No, don't worry about me. Don't worry. Okay, we good. Thank you.
Okay, I just
can
have
have
a
it.
question.
Councilman Biename.
When you looking at the proposal, there's a big discrepancy between the number 1 and the number 5. Let's see, you reward this company, MCT, today, right? And after they come for a change order, what do you do? Which is what happened in a lot of cases.
So we're just authorizing this one, so they have to come back.
Hmm?
Just asking.
The discrepancy, you see 23,000, and the fifth one asking for 85,000. Another one for 82, another one for 41.
If I may, Councilman,
Mm-hmm.
Councilman Bieneme, we noticed that discrepancy because it's fairly obvious. So we actually met with the owner of the firm, myself, other staff, including Kent, and we sort of like scrubbed through their proposal. We went over the specification criteria, what was going to be expected of this person. She's a woman who's the owner. We, painstakingly, and she assured us that she understood fully what she was getting into, what the city was expecting of this project. We also checked references to verify her work and her performance, and the references have also checked out with the county and with the city of Fort Lauderdale.
That's not my main question. What about if after
So
you reward them, they sign a contract with you, and then come up a change order
so the change.
over this number 2? What do you do?
So you're authorizing a limit of 37,000. One, we couldn't exceed that. 2, I have a small limit. I think is it 15%?
50%.
I can go 15%. Beyond that, we'd have to come back to the council for further approval.
Beyond 15%.
Yeah, beyond 15% of further monetary approval or funding approval.
Okay, but what about if the change order when you write to the numbers 2? In case, because usually that's what happened. Let's see tomorrow they come up with a change order and now it's almost $40,000.
I'd have to come back. I'd probably come back to you.
And it won't be fair to the
Correct.
to the number 1 to the second company.
Number 2, because they would have bid a number short of that.
Exactly.
I got you.
And that happened in quite some time. And
Right, and
but
you're exactly correct. And
the
that was,
committee doesn't consider that.
well,
and check
that was
on-
the reason why we sat with this vendor, because we noticed that. And we wanted to make sure that they would honor that price, Councilman. Now obviously anything could happen, but the assumption is going into all these contracts is they have to honor that. They have to honor that price. And if they don't, there's obviously, ramifications.
Can I add something on the reward?
On the resolution?
Any change order need to be brought before
Fine with me.
council for approval?
In this particular case?
Yeah, change order, and in case it's gonna be higher than
In
So
this
the
one
number
or
two.
general?
no.
So in
it's
other
that
words,
one.
any change order
Because
that
in
would
some
take
case
the,
they may do that, and after that they bring the change order for $10,000-$15,000.
Okay.
It's not
So
fair
if-
to the number 2
so if I,
or number 3.
if I'm hearing correctly, then you would want an amendment to this resolution to add a clause that says any change order that would make the total amount of this contract in excess of the second
15%,
bidder's,
no,
50% or the
of the
second bidder,
bidder, yeah.
the second bidder's proposal would have to come back for council
Or
approval.
you
Or
rebid
rebid
it
or,
Well, that's
Exactly,
different than
because
what
it
you're
doesn't
saying.
make sense.
So
No,
you're
that's
saying,
what I understand, yeah.
Within the 15% or after?
No,
After.
I would actually ask that you give me the direction to limit it to the dollar amount, because that way it's clear. Because the second bidder is at
So make it 30? You want to?
36.
Can I ask a question while you're searching, Mr. Manager?
And the third one, 40.
It's- Yes, it's 36 125
Is the second one?
is the second one.
Let me ask you a quick question. Are the I'm just throwing this out there. With number 5 and number 1, you think they might be under the impression, based on the RFQ, that they assuming that they buying the trees as well?
Well, no.
That could have been that.
Well, that is part of the award includes.
Is to buy the tree?
It includes the actual furnishing and installation and
Oh
maintenance of the
Lord,
trees.
for 23,000?
That's correct.
That don't sound right. I mean,
Okay, that's why we went that is because of that. You see another company and Country Bill, it's 41. Superior, those big companies,
Oh,
they're
so-
almost 3 times the amount. That's
so
we
they
wanna
are
make
23.
They are the lowest responsive
okay.
bidder to the
Go ahead.
RFP, and as such,
They may know where to get good trees.
perhaps.
Hey, no.
But can I will make the motion, and if it's over 15%,
Okay,
and
15
in the
is how
change
much?
order, it need to be
brought back to the
back
council.
To council.
Okay.
All right, there's a motion for an amendment to the resolution that any changes over 15% of the item come back to council at a future date. Now, if this passes, Mr. City Attorney, is it considered to be germane only to this particular resolution, or is it going to apply to
No,
every
to this.
resolution?
It would be to this resolution.
Okay. All right, is there a second to Councilman Biename's motion?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Etienne, do you need further clarification on the language? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 4-0. Is there any further discussion on the item? Otherwise, a motion to approve the resolution is in order. Is there a motion?
Oh,
Yes.
we didn't do, that was separate, the amendment?
Right, Mayor,
Yeah,
We did it together,
Vice
right?
Mayor, yeah,
That
you
was
just
just-
approved the item with
And
the
the amendment,
amendment, and the
okay.
amendment that's gonna be stated is the amendment you said on the record.
Awesome.
So it was just approved with the amendment you read.
Procedurally, you're supposed to approve the amendment first and then approve.
It's combined. So what he did, he approved tab
Approve
F
with the
with the
amendment.
amendment. So it was just approved with the amendment 4-0. As-
And genuinely, though, if you don't approve the amendment and the amendment fails, you can still pass the measure without the amendment. If we start to get sloppy and blur those lines, I'm going to let it ride because we're all trying to.
But that's it's been like this for the past 7 years. So that's what they do. What they do, if it didn't pass with the amendment, then the item wouldn't pass. But right now, it did pass with the amendment as you read it.
I'm going to ask the attorney for the next meeting to clarify. An amendment should be approved standalone from the actual item. And that's my opinion. I'll allow the attorney to get back to us.
What was the motion? The motion was.
Well, the motion was to approve, tab F with the amendments as stated by Councilman Bieneme.
So the motion with the amendment was passed.
Yeah,
But
But recognize it's sloppy, because if you don't approve the amendment, you can still procedurally approve the item.
You can.
Yeah.
If it fails with the amendment, then it can
Then you
always
come
go
back
forward.
Another motion.
But the way
Right.
Robert's rules are written, you approve the amendment separately, and I get it, maybe that's the way it's been done 7 years ago, but don't let me get going on what's been done in this city hall for the last 7 years that maybe shouldn't have been done that way. So, we've approved item F, we're moving now to item G.
Tab G. Proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the selection of A&B Pipe and Supply, Inc., Ferguson Enterprise, Inc., Frontline, Inc., HD Supply Waterworks, Ltd., and Lehman Pipe and Plumbing Supply, Inc., as the 5 lowest responsive and responsible vendors for the provision of water and sewer parts and equipment at a total cost not to exceed $600,000 per year in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in invitation for bid number 44-16-17, further authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute agreements for the provision of stated services with the 5 firms. providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. That was tab G.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Distrati, I guess you're going to weigh in on tab G.
That's correct. Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Once again, for the record, Alberto Estrada, Purchasing Department. The item that you have before you is staff's recommendation to seek your approval of the award to solicitation IFB 441617, which is in essence the selection of a pool, a pre-qualified pool of vendors to provide the city of North Miami with water and sewer parts and equipment. This will basically be sort of a blanket purchase order, and the purchases will be made by the city on an as-needed basis. The budgeted amount, and this is for the city's Public Works Department, is $600,000 a year. As background to this solicitation and to this item, on May 20th, 2017, the Purchasing Department issued IFB 441617, seeking proposals from qualified and experienced vendors to provide the city with the various water and sewer parts and equipment, such as pipe fittings for water and sewer lines, fire hydrants, etc. As a result of this solicitation, the city received 5 proposals. And based on staff's review and evaluation of these proposals, the following 5 vendors are being recommended for this contract. And they are listed: A&B Pipe and Supply Incorporated, Ferguson Enterprises Incorporated, Fort Line Incorporated, HD Supply Waterworks Limited, Lehman Pipe and Plumbing Supply Incorporated. As I mentioned, this will be for a sort of a blanket purchase order. The Public Works Department has budgeted an amount every year to purchase this type of equipment. So this is what is before the council this evening. It will be for a 1-year contract with 3 additional annual renewals. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to entertain them.
Thank you, Mr. Distrati. Public hearing is now open on tab G. Public hearing is open on tab G. Seeing nobody rising to the microphone, public hearing on tab G is closed. Council discussion.
Yes, I have one question, Vice Mayor.
Yes.
Mr. Distrata, I don't like the blanket, but I guess that's how we do it in the past. My question is this kind of like a vendor pool where you pick the vendors and you pick whichever based on the service? Now my next question would be, is your office or does your office have some type of a follow-up to ensure that each of the vendors are selected properly, or how is that done?
Well, yes, and you're correct, Councilman DeSulme. In essence, this will be a pool of suppliers. These are essentially suppliers for this type of equipment for our Public Works Department. What this does, in essence, is it's going to facilitate the purchase of these equipment once the council grants its approval of these companies. Staff has evaluated, looked at these companies, the type of parts that they can provide. In fact, many of these companies have already provided these type of supplies to the city in the past, and so this is the recommendation. It's simply to facilitate the purchasing process for these water and sewer parts and equipment.
Thank you. Mr. DeSulme, anything further?
Yes, sir.
All right. Does anybody else from council have any questions? Seeing none, a motion to approve is in order.
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Keys.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bienemay. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Measure passes 4-0. All right. Mr. Distrata, you've been a soldier tonight. Thank you. We're now moving to tab H.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Tab H, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the evaluation committee's results and selection of Downtown Book Center, Inc. to provide library cafe services at the E. May Avo North Miami Public Library in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in RFP number 501617, and further authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute an agreement with the selected contractor, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Through Vice Mayor, very quickly, just to give some context. You may recall, probably longer than a year ago, we actually awarded a vendor to provide the cafe services when we opened the new library. Unfortunately, that vendor was not able to sustain the service at the library, so we had to rebid the service out again. So this is the results of that rebid process.
All right.
Okay.
Mr. Destrade, were you going to add something further?
Yes, sir. Well, just an overview once again for the record. Roberto Estrade, Purchasing Department. Just to follow up on the city manager's comments, that's exactly what staff did. We issued this solicitation, basically an RFP, seeking proposals for these library cafe services. The item that you have before you is the result of the evaluation committee, their ranking and their recommendation. There were two companies that submitted proposals. One was Downtown Book Center, the other one was Pastry is Art. And based on the scoring of the evaluation committee, as you can see in the council report, the recommendation is Downtown Book Center. I would like to add that the composition of the selection committee included the library director, a member of the library board, a member of the Friends of the Library, as well as also a member from our CP&D staff and finance department. So this is the committee's recommendation, and if you have any questions, I'll be glad to entertain.
All right. We're going to first go to public hearing on tab H. Tab H, anybody wish to come to the microphone to speak? Seeing nobody rising to the microphone, public hearing on H is closed. Council discussion.
No.
Councilman DeSolme.
Where's the other applicant? Is it only the one that you awarded that was here?
Well, the two applicants, as you see, Councilman DeSume on the council report, that submitted a proposal was Downtown Book Center and Pastry is Art. And I should add that the owner representative of Downtown Book Center is here this evening, Ms. Raquel Roque.
No, sir, that's not what I'm asking.
Right.
Do you have the application of the other vendor? I know it's true, but there's one in here, so I'm asking for the other one. Is it on this package or it's not?
It should be included as part of your package.
Okay, that's what I'm looking for.
All right.
It's not here.
We'll take a brief vacation for Mr. DeSulme to look through the packet. But in the meantime, is anybody else on the council? Does anybody else on the council have any questions for either the applicant or staff?
I do.
Councilwoman Keys.
Lucia, do you have any comments on this? Recommendations? Are you okay with this?
Councilman Keys through the manager to the library director.
Thank you.
Members of council, Vice Mayor, I am very happy with the recommendations of the committee, and I think this is a wonderful opportunity and a very unique venture in which we are embarking at this point with coming together of a bookstore background experience and the library world. It's very unique, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
I just looked through my packet. The only packet we have here is the one that was awarded.
I figure.
If you'd like, we can.
Do you,
Get staff to
Councilman
get to
DeSulme, do you want to continue this item to the end of August, or are you?
No, sir, I don't mind approving it with the option of, if you would provide me that list, and I'll decide if I need to rescind my vote, whatever the case is. I just wanted to be fair to check on some other things, because I did see the point was not evenly with the committee, the way the committee voted. So that's why I look at that. I also wanted to see the other applicant. But that's fine. I don't have no problem, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I have just a quick question for Mr. Destrade or anybody else on staff who wants to answer. Why do you feel so confident that this new vendor will actually be able to keep the doors open? Do they have a deeper financial well to draw from, a better history at running a restaurant?
I'll give my answer based on having done some pre-interviews before. I think the bid that we got the last time from a financial perspective may have been a little bit unrealistic from a volume standpoint. The vendor here took an approach that was a little bit we're going to start it slow and rise as we go over time. And as a result of that, I think this will probably be more sustainable. Their approach to the food delivery is different. So it's low packaged fresh food, and they incorporate healthy eating into their delivery. So I think just the framework of it will be better.
And if we approve this evening, when will the new vendor open in the space?
Well, she's right here if you'd like to ask her, but we're hoping that it should be within the first month or so after this award, but if you'd like to hear from her herself, she's right here.
Sure. Let's let the vendor come forward and.
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
I'm Raquel Roque. I'm the owner of Downtown Book Center.
If you will repeat that into the microphone for our listening audience. at
Hi,
home.
good evening. I'm Raquel Roque. I'm the owner of the Downtown Book Center. I am a member of a tri-generational family of booksellers. The reason that we are sustainable is because we've been in business since 1965. We have done this before. We actually have a joint venture at the Miami-Dade, at the airport. So we have a bookstore with a grab-and-go concept, and the thrilling thing for me is to be able to work with the library, because I've been in the book business all my life, and we need to tie together now and to really give reading and healthy eating to our community in North Miami.
Thank you, Ms. Roque. And a shameless plug, what's the name of your place at the Miami Airport?
It's Books and Books. It's joined conjointly with Arias and with Books and Books.
Awesome. All right. Any further questions from council? If none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Keys. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bien-Aimé. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Measure passes 4-0. Congratulations, Ms. Roque. We'll see you at the library. And now to tab I.
Tab I, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to issue purchase orders on an as-needed basis for the purchase of tires and related services for city fleet vehicles in the aggregate amount not to exceed $100,000 per year for a one-year term from two competitively selected vendors, Miami Tire Souls, Inc., and Goodyear Auto Service Center, to piggyback the competitive awards issued by the Florida Sheriff's Association under the invitation to bid tires and related services, bid number 1517-07-0220, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. That was tab I.
Thank you. Mr. Manager, staff, I guess Mr. Destrade. All right.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, once again.
You're not on vacation tonight, that's for sure.
No, no. Just, it's all in a day's work. I have but one life to give for my city.
Thank you.
Once again, for the record, Alberto Estrada, Purchasing Department. The item that you have before you is staff's recommendation for your approval of the award to two vendors, Miami Tire Souls and Goodyear Auto Service, Goodyear being a local vendor located here in the city of North Miami, for the purchase or to issue purchase orders for the provision of tire products and related services for the city's fleet vehicles. This will be for a one-year term at a total amount not to exceed $100,000 a year. The basis for this recommendation is a cooperative purchase that was done by the Florida Sheriff's Association in January of 2015. And based on that invitation to bid that the Florida Sheriff's Association issued, we are making this recommendation. I should point out that the Florida Sheriff's Association, their contracts afford participating agencies and municipalities, such as the City of North Miami, with access to favorable terms and pricing through its statewide competitive selection process, thereby providing the City of North Miami with a cost-effective method of purchasing these goods and services. And in fact, as part of the attachment, there's a list of all of the vendors that are participating, and there's over 250 participating vendors on their dealer list. So based on these very competitive pricing, staff is recommending your approval for the award of this not-to-exceed purchase order for these two vendors, Miami Tire Souls and Goodyear Auto Services. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to entertain them.
Thank you. Before we entertain council questions, we're going to go to the audience. Anybody in the room have any questions on tab I? Want to speak on tab I? Seeing nobody rise, public hearing on tab I is closed. Council discussion. If there's no council discussion, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Biename. Is there a second? I'll second them. I'll allow Councilman DeSume to be the seconder. Is there any further council discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Measure passes 4-0. We're now jumping down to tab K. We're taking J and K in reverse order tonight. So tab K, Mr. City Clerk.
Proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, adopting fiscal year 2017 through 2018 action plan under the Community Development Black Grant. I guess that's supposed to be block grant, typo there, and home investment partnership grant programs as required by 24 CFR 91.15A1, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Thank you. For the record, Tanya Wilson Sejour with the Community Planning and Development Department. Staff will read the recommendation into the record. Staff is recommending that the City Council adopts the proposed 2017-2018 action plan and transmit to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for final approval. As the council is aware, the city of North Miami is an entitlement city. So each year, HUD does provide an allocation to the city for housing and community development. And each year with that allocation, the city is responsible for submitting an action plan. An action plan essentially outlines the city's vision, just detailing how it intends to spend the federal funds on housing and community development. So what you have before you in Table 1 is a breakdown of the budget of how North Miami is proposing to spend those funds. I just also want to read into the record the allocation amounts for both CDBG and home. We have $698,978 proposed for CDBG, and then also $208,444 for home. So you have a total of $907,422,000. And that's a reduction actually below the amounts that were allocated last year. You have about 24,000 less than was given by the federal government last year. Once you adopt that action plan, then you're required to submit to HUD. You have a 30-day comment period. So we have a deadline of August 15th by which to get this proposed budget submitted to the Department of Housing and Urban Development. So if the council has any questions at this time, staff is available to take them.
Sure. Before I open it to public discussion first, what procedures do you want us to move forward under tonight? We've, over the years, done these CDBG block grants in so many different formats where we have each group come up one by one and make their case, and then the council votes, and we, how do you wish us, what's your vision for us moving forward with this evening, Mr. Manager?
Very quick, that item is the next item. That's the
Correct.
CBOs.
Right.
That's tab J.
J.
So,
This is just the budget itself.
This
just
is the
detailing.
overall.
Correct.
This
Okay.
item.
So
right
it's
we're
the pot
approving
itself.
We're approving the dollar amount now,
Correct.
and in the next we'll divide
That
up
The
would be also
increments.
the
Correct.
one group, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. And is there anybody in the room who would like to speak publicly on tab K? Tab K is now open for public discussion. Seeing nobody rising, tab K is now closed. Council, tab K.